Is this even a review? This camera is over 50 years old. Only way you can buy it is to get it second-hand. One Saturday I woke up early. Clearly had nothing better to do, so I went to flea market. And flea markets are like lottery. Sometimes you get amazing stuff and sometimes, well, something else. So I spotted this camera. Seller wanted 15 euros, I gave him 10, and I went home with one Franka Solida from 1950's. Bellows were in good condition, which is one of more important things for me, since I was never able to fix them permanently once they are pierced. Seller mentioned that camera is unable to take a picture, but that is an easy fix. The lever is bent. Shutter is seizing a bit in slower speeds, and let's hope there's no lens fungus. What more could you expect for the price of one roll of Kodak Gold? Franka made few variations of this camera, one with light meter, one with rangefinder, one with both, and then this one with nothing. Nevertheless, we will try to fix it up and make some nice images. Big attraction of this camera is this nice and fast Radionar lens made by Schneider Kreuznach. Now this is medium format, so f-stop of 2.9 makes it for some really thin depth of field. I wonder how hard is it to nail focus, considering that there is no way to check where the lens is actually focused. Also, I wonder what is the image quality wide open. Does it even matter? Surely, there must be a price to pay for such small camera. Just look at it, it is smaller than other two medium format magazines that I have. Mind you, those are just film magazines, not the entire camera. To accomplish being so thin, this camera extends its lens through bellows, which means that you will have to open the camera before you can take any picture. Not a bad trade-off, if that means that I can put it in my pocket afterwards. Just remember to return the focus back to infinity before closing the camera, or you might damage the lens. Filter thread is 40.5mm, so you can attach filters if you got them in that diameter. Or use step-up rings to get to your regular size. Let's take a look at the shutter first. In order to get to it, we have to remove the entire lens assembly, which is done by unscrewing this ring from the back. Using lens wrench near bellows always makes me uneasy. Those ends are so pointy and easy to slip. I'm applying the lightest amount of pressure and I switch to hand as soon as I can. I have to mention one video that helped me a lot. Mr. Chris Sherlock made an amazing 3-part video showing how to completely disassemble and fix Pronto S shutter, which is exactly what this camera has. Thanks, Chris. Out comes the lens and our adventure begins. Now, this bent lever happened when someone tried to close the camera by force and bent it permanently, so it couldn't be engaged by mechanism anymore. Should be an easy fix, just let me get my long pliers. Works like a charm now. Next, time for lens to come apart so I can get to the shutter. And I think I saw these little guys. People don't really appreciate how small some of these screws are. And dirty. Oh damn, that is oily. Let me try to wipe it a little bit. I wonder if someone before me greased that helicoid way more than it should. Out it goes so we can get to the shutter. We'll get to the lens later. The front ring is gone, so we can see timing and delay mechanism. Yeah, that is in desperate need of clean and lube. Let me get them out. If one side does not work, try the other one. Okay, both parts are out. Time to clean them properly. All you need is lighter fluid or naphtha, depending how it is branded. That stuff dissolves the old lubricants. Just let it soak for some time. When that is done, transfer the part into clean glass with the distilled water. I used ultrasonic bath to really clean it up, but forgot to record that. Does this image look good to you? Wait, did I spoil my own video? Well, by seeing these photos, you already know things have worked out. I'm not gonna keep you in some fake YouTube suspense. So in a way, this is like Spanish telenovela. You can already guess what has happened, but you have no idea how. Relax a little bit, this will be a different theme from that Cinephi video, but I did not forget my promise. Color is still being worked on. After wiping excess water, spray it with isopropyl alcohol. You can now use hot sun, or perhaps your 3D printer's filament dryer, to dry it up quickly, which is yet another thing that I did not record. Oiling was done using Gunnex oil, but you can also use anything made for watches or precision machinery. Make sure not to overdo it and don't actually loop the gears. Assembling, sometimes called reverse disassembly. There it is, all back in one piece. We will check shutter timing in a second. Let me turn my attention to these little guys. Hello Fungus, my old friend. Wish I never have to see you again. When you magnify it properly, it is almost like cities with roads in between. Time to bring hydrogen peroxide and eradicate them forever. I will try my best, but these old coatings are basically dead. In fact, they have been dead for a long time. We just did not have heart to tell you, Sam. They were gone since the original owner left them to stand in a dump place for a few decades. Gentlest of wipes and fungus should be gone. Let me blast all the elements with some ultraviolet light to ensure that fungus is destroyed from all places that I couldn't reach with the cotton swab. Time for everything to go back to its place as we assemble the lens back. I'm going to relube the helicoid with some nice solid lube and wipe off the excess with my finger. This got out of hand rather quickly as this thing was slippery and I was trying my best not to touch the glass. Ring with distance scale can be calibrated later. First, let me check if shutter speeds are at least in the ballpark of correct timing. Few minutes of CAD and 3D printing later, we have this mount which we will use for checking light. And one extra thing later. If you are guessing why this has focusing helicoid, you should already know what I'm going to do. For this, I will use my probe with light-sensitive diode and an oscilloscope. Sure, you can make tester with Arduino, but this is what I have, and since I do this only once in a while, it is serving me well enough. Sad truth is that sometimes it's not about the speed of your shutter, but the speed of your finger. Basically, I ran each exposure multiple times to make sure that shutter speed is consistent. So far, this looks good. We are 5% or less on variation. That is some basic Excel analysis. I know that statistics people enjoy finding errors everywhere, so I potentially left some in this table. Now, as for hitting the actual timing, we can consult tables on ScanTip's website, where they calculated actual values that should be expected. Sounds weird, but you would expect that 1/50th of a second should be 20 milliseconds, but this is actually slightly different value. Give ScanTips a visit. It's an interesting read on how some values are just reused, due to historical reasons. For the other thing, this is actually usable to mount the lens on a scanning back. Before you look at the images, have in mind that we are judging this lens with an incredible harshness of a high-resolution back like its creators never imagined. It looks worse than it is. You have already seen the scan film. That did not look so bad. Wide open, there is some glow, but that clears up quickly as you stop down. You can dismiss vertical and horizontal stripes. One comes from partially cloudy day, and the other one is scanning sensor problem. Sharpness is pretty decent overall. Does all of this matter in the end? Should you concern yourself with such measurements? Absolutely not. Well, unless you are the guy fixing the camera, then you kinda have to. How else would you know if everything was fixed properly? Otherwise, I can tell you that this is good enough, especially for something this pocketable. My biggest annoyance is probably this super small viewfinder that doesn't even help with focus or anything. If you can get a version with rangefinder, it should be better. That brings us to the last part of assembly, and that's calibrating the distance ring. If you could possibly see the image of the film plane, then that's simple enough to pull off. I've been using interference patterns for a while now, and it's easy to see as the image pops into the focus. Even better, you can pull off one special trick if your digital camera has focus peaking. Just use macro lens focused onto the foil, and you will see the patterns when your main lens is focused correctly. If you have put the pattern at exactly 1 meter from the film plane, that means that lens is focused correctly, and the ring can be fixed. You can then move the pattern to 2 meters of distance and check if everything is working correctly. Camera should be fully working. Time to go out and shoot film. That's what really matters. Now that I mention film, maybe I should run one roll of empty baking paper just to see if everything is smooth before I put actual film inside. First you move empty spool to take a position and start rolling your film from one to the other. Here you can see how simple is film binding in this camera. There is no automated binding. You need to use this small cover on the back to see the frame number that's printed on baking paper. And don't forget to close that cover once you are done binding, as there are some chances that light will get to your already exposed film. Since everything seems okay, let's try to load real film. At this point, I'm fairly certain that things should go well with this camera. But you never know, this channel is full of surprises. You never know what to expect. that was one pleasant afternoon walk to get 12 shots out of this film. Sun was still shining, so most of them are f16 or f11, but I did sneak 2 of them with 2.9 just to see how it looks in real scenario. To conclude this non-review review, this is pretty neat camera. If you can get it for cheap, by all means do it. Have some fun shooting medium format with something that fits in your pocket. I hope this was useful to someone. Until next time.